Hello and welcome to GT Sports Mates Manufacturers Championship. We're here now at race 9 of 10 at Maggiore, and joining us tonight is John and Josh. Hello, John and Josh.
Hello.
Oh,
So, as we said, race 9 Maggiore. Strangely, there was an issue with the start. Actually, the cars all got jumbled up, so it was an unusual start. Cars not exactly being where they should have been. Not quite sure what happened there. But here we go towards the first corner, and whilst the race is getting on the way, I'd like to get both your inputs. So starting with you, John. Technically, you've already won the championship. 2 races to go. So, what was your thoughts?
just focusing on the race as a singular thing. Having finished the championship, I didn't have to worry too much about playing the long game now, so it was nice to just take it as it came rather than thinking longer term.
It's very fair, very good point. No real reason to worry. As you said, you've already won it, so you can just take this as a normal race. How about you, Josh? Interestingly, you were currently sat in third in the championship, only 4 points behind myself. So, good battle going for second place. What were you thinking coming into this second to last race?
Well, obviously the pressure was really on. I mean, for how close things have been getting and how good the battles have been, especially now that we know that John, we can't catch him anymore. The battles have really been getting very, very close. And also, last time we raced it, I ended up winning it. So, also quite a bit of pressure trying to see if I can snatch another good victory. But yeah, mostly just focusing on getting as high as position I can get, really.
That's very fair, and it's a good point actually. I found that myself when you have been successful and won a race at a certain track, the pressure is on a bit more when you revisit the track. Too much for me there, as I go clattering into the wall and basically ruining my race. But race incidents happen and whatnot. But I can see you there, Josh, in third now behind Luke. So I'm practically out. I'm not really going to be able to catch you now in this race, but technically, you still need to come in at a good place. You can't drop too far down because, like I said, there's only 4 points between us. So yeah, the pressure's on for you because, like you said, you are the winner of this track the first time round.
Yeah. And especially now, I mean, I have managed to get the overtake done on Luke, but he's a very good driver and he's very, what's the word, can't say it, but yeah, he's very attack-minded, almost like Luke. He's very good at defending as well, but when he's on the attack, he really goes for it. So I'm doing everything in my power at the moment to make sure Luke's staying behind me. And also you can see the McLaren also gaining, so really quite a lot of pressure on me at the moment.
There is, yeah. I mean, I will just say your defence coming into that last corner there, very well done. You managed to get round without causing any problems. You didn't get a penalty, so very cleanly defended. Very, very well done, as much as that pains me to say. But talking about the Porsche and the McLaren, fourth and fifth in the championship, both on 98 points. So these two last races, big effort needed from both drivers. Big effort. Who was you seeing? Who was you favouring at this point to take fourth place?
At this point, it was very, very close. I mean, both drivers seem to be better in their own elements. Luke, he's not been as consistent as the McLaren, but when he's managed to get the points, he's done really, really well.
Sorry to interrupt. I was going to say there comes an excellent overtake, but looks like Luke's just shut the door there. Very well defended.
Yeah, he really very close to a collision actually there, which would not have been good for either of the drivers really.
No, the last thing they need is damage or penalties.
Mm.
How about you, John? Who would you favouring coming into this race to take fourth?
Oh, I don't know. I think both drivers have had excellent races in their own sort of right. So I think it was open for either. But just seeing all the battling going on behind me felt great because I was out of it and it was giving me a chance to just get a gap. Josh having to defend from Luke and battling, that gap was just widening and widening, and I wasn't having to push as much. As you know, when you're stuck in a battle, you lose time to the guy in front. So it was all going in my favour at this point. I think you mentioned the move before, like Josh and Luke battling. I think that was a great battle.
Yeah, interestingly, you and Josh both pitting, with the Porsche and the McLaren staying out. So I found myself wondering, basically, was the Porsche, was the McLaren, were they watching each other, waiting for the pit stop because they didn't want to lose out? Were they going to pit at the same time? Was one of them going to go for the undercut? But it looks like they stayed out one lap longer, trying to get maybe a bit of an advantage. But the tyres just wearing out a bit too quick, I think, and you could quite easily catch up and go past. But coming into the pits now with Luke, did McLaren stay out? I think the McLaren did.
McLaren did
very,
stay
very
out.
brave.
I find that McLaren, he does that quite a lot. My dad, he quite favours that strategy of staying out the longest, and hopefully he creates that big enough of a gap so when he comes out the pits, he's either close enough, or he's either close enough to his opponent so he's got fresh tyres on and he could really start attacking, or he's managed to get ahead enough so he overtakes them in the pits. But the tyres were really struggling at this moment, so McLaren did very, very well. Especially now because me and Luke were getting very close. So for him to keep his head cool and manage to keep his tyres out for that long, very, very good driving.
Very good, and it looks like that might pay dividends really, because he's come out the pit there. He has dropped down into fourth, but as you said, he's got fresh tyres against the Porsche, who he will be chasing. His tyres are one lap less old, so coming into the final lap, that could really change it.
That was
so
a very
we're on board now with John on the final lap. Obviously, a very comfortable race for you. Seemed like quite an easy race, not having to battle anybody. So coming into these last few bends, well, not the last few bends, there's a few left to go actually. What was you thinking here, John? Was you just thinking, oh, well, it was just another race, or was you thinking I could still, edge off a few milliseconds there? Because I know what you're like. If it's not absolutely perfect, you'll kick yourself. So what was you thinking?
I wanted to go for another fastest lap and take a second stop on lap 8, but Josh was just too close in the jag for me to get that second stop done and come out safely ahead. So I knew that I wasn't going to be able to take the fastest lap on this final lap. So it's just about keeping it clean. I think the position was fixed as long as I didn't make any ridiculous mistakes. So just keeping it clean really, and getting across the line.
It was a very well-deserved victory.
Good victory. Good tactics there. So here we go, across the line. Josh coming in second, very well done. Luke just about holding off the McLaren. That's going to become an absolutely fantastic battle coming into the last race. I don't know what it means for myself as I come very slowly across the line, but I think the last race is definitely going to be one to watch. So thank you for joining me tonight, guys, and for anybody watching, we will see you guys next time at Laguna Seca.